my channel. It has been a very long time since I've done like any sort of normal videos. I believe it's been about a month actually, maybe 2 months. I think it's 2 months. The only thing I've really posted were a couple very short vlogs, just kind of showing what's going on in my life. So yeah, I wanted to do the mid-year freakout tag because that is a thing booktubers do. And I did one last year as well. I will link that in the description below. But I just wanted to get back into doing more videos again, just because it's fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. So the first question on the tag list is best book you've read so far in 2022. I would definitely say the best book I've read so far this year is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. It is a very, very good book and it's very highly rated for me. I think it deserves a lot more attention than it gets, and it's often like people tend to put it off because it's often described as very complicated, but I think if you can get past the super complex kind of plot line, you'll really enjoy it. Best sequel you've read so far in 2022 is the second question. So here's the thing. I have read the sequels of some of the book series that I've started this year. I haven't liked any of them that much, or had an interest in going on with the series. Either I liked the book and I was just like, I just need a different book series right now, or I just wasn't that into it. I had continued Vicious series by V.E. Schwab, and I did not enjoy the second book in that series. I thought it was just kind of bad, but that's might just be me. But yeah, I have been really struggling to find sequels entertaining lately. I think I'm just so focused on getting bits of different stories that it's kind of hard to just focus on one whole arc. So that being said, I don't think there's any sequels this year that I've read that have honestly been the best. I'm reading The Obelisk Gate, which is the second book in N.K. Jemisin's The Broken Earth trilogy, and I do genuinely enjoy that book. I think it's really good, but I haven't finished it yet, so I technically haven't read it yet because I'm a little over halfway through, and I don't want to be like, I love this book, and then I absolutely hate the ending and be like, never mind, we're done. But yeah, so this far, I have not read a sequel that I enjoyed. A new release that you haven't read yet but you want to is the third question. I already bought this book. It's Manhunt. I forget who wrote it, but it is a very interesting looking book that I am so excited to read. I think it will be both funny and extremely gory. It came out a couple months ago, but I had it on my most anticipated of this year and I'm so excited to read it. I think it'll be great. My most anticipated release for the second half of the year is definitely Known as the Ninth, because like if you've been here for a little bit, you'll know that Gideon the Ninth basically owns my heart and soul. So the fact that there's a new book coming out this year is really exciting, and I can't wait to have my heart broken all over again, because every single time I've read one of Tamsyn stories, I've cried at least once, so we'll see how it goes. Question 5 is biggest disappointment of 2022. I would definitely say that would be House of Earth and Blood what's the second one called? House of Sky, Breath and Sky, Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I did not really enjoy it. I found it to be kind of a repeat of every other character arc that she's had in her other stories, and I was just kind of like bored by it. The second book was also extremely long, and I just didn't have the energy at the time to get through it, so I never ended up finishing it, but I really just didn't care, which is sad to me because I really love Bryce as a character, but for some reason reading her this time I just couldn't stand her, so that was really disappointing. Sixth question is biggest surprise of this year. I would definitely say that would be Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey, I think is the author of that book. I thought it was great. I had some issues with the tone and some issues with the pacing, but overall I did genuinely enjoy the book. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a lot better than originally thought going into it. I thought the book was really interesting and I ended up enjoying one of the characters. So I suggest it. I feel like the writing might get better in the sequels if I ever end up reading them. And yeah, that was definitely the biggest surprise of 2022. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it. I'm very hesitant to say that I enjoy sci-fi sometimes. I connect more with high fantasy than I do with sci-fi, but Red Rising kind of changed my mind a little on that, so I'm trying to branch more into it now. Favorite new author is the 7th question, and that would definitely be N.K. Jemisin, who wrote the Broken Earth trilogy. This book series owns my heart and soul right now, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna have a death grip on me for a very long time. I think the way that she writes is absolutely brilliant. I think the way she thinks of ideas and like different scenarios is so unique to any other book that I've read recently, and it just feels, her books always feel refreshing but emotionally damaging at the same time. It is exhausting, but at the same time it's exhausting in a good way. The 8th question is your newest favorite character. I would say Rin from the Poppy War, and also Essun from the 5th season and the Obelisk Gate, and Alabaster from the 5th season and the Obelisk Gate. I think both of those characters are really cool. All 3 of those characters are really cool and really fun, and I just genuinely love reading about them. I think they all have such intricate traumas that make them into very complicated people, which is always something I look for in a story. I don't really like when characters are just kind of one-faceted mind. I just need them to have multiple sides to them. And I really find that those 3 characters do. So they worked for me. A book that made me cry is the 9th question. The end of the Poppy War made me cry. I do remember that. It wasn't as much as I cried at the end of Gideon the 9th or at the end of Golden Sun in the Red Rising series, but it made me tear up, and definitely it was a big hit in the heart. But other than that, I really haven't cried at many books this year. I cried rereading Gideon the 9th, but I don't think that counts. A book that's made you happy is question number 10. And I'm gonna say none of them. Either I haven't really liked any of the books that I've been reading, or it was too disturbing because I've been reading a lot of like horror and really weird horror, and I've just been like, no, this doesn't make me happy, it's just weird. Or I've been reading fantasy books that are extremely depressing. So the most beautiful book you bought so far is question 11, and that would definitely be the copy of Edgar Allan Poe's work. It's illustrated. I got it while I was on a trip, which you can see in my previous vlog. So I'll just put a picture of it here. It is a very beautiful copy and I love it. I have it up on my shelf currently, and yeah, it's really pretty. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I want to read Shadow of the Gods by the end of the year. I do want to finish the Broken Earth trilogy, and I feel like I need to read Fury Song and None of the Ninth by the end of the year, so those are my main 4. I'm not really pushing myself to read too many books this year. I have to kind of be like, hey, my life's busy, and I can't really expect myself to read as much as I did when my life wasn't as busy. So I want to read those 4 books more than any other ones, so I'm just focusing on those. Favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen this year? None of them. And that was the last question. Okay, I don't think I've liked any book to movie adaptation that I've seen in a while. Or like book to film, book to TV. No, I really haven't. I haven't liked any of them. I would say I did read the first book of Game of Thrones this year, and I genuinely think the book is 1,000 times better. I highly suggest reading the book instead. I do love the Game of Thrones show, but I feel like the book gives you a lot more context for things that happen, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so that was the mid-year freakout tag. I hope to see you all again soon. I have been lazy lately and not wanting to make videos, and I'm very sorry about that, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.